I'm not big on fighting these days.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing? And this is CJack Talk, and I just finished watching the AEW All Out pay-per-view along with the buy-in. And this is going to be the nice little review podcast we're doing. This is going to be the weekly podcast for this week. So sit down, strap in, crack a beer, whatever the fuck you want to do, and let's get into this shit. On the pre-show, we had Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus, or Jungle Express, with Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, and Wheeler Yuta, otherwise known as the Best Friends, defeating TH2, Private Party, and Matt Hardy, otherwise known as HFO. So we had Jungle Express and Best Friends coming away with the victory against the Hardy Family Office. This was a decent match. It wasn't nothing super spectacular. I was impressed with it. I thought it was what it needed to be. It had a good captivating performance by all parties involved. Then toward the end, then after the end of the match, after the Orange Cassidy came away with the victory, the Butcher came out from underneath the ring, started to try to attack Orange Cassidy. So the Butcher did make his return on the pre-show. And as soon as the Butcher started to try to attack Orange Cassidy, the entire locker room emptied. Of the Jungle Express came back out. The rest of the best friends came to his aid. I seen Dante Martin out there, even the Dark Order, just various other faces of the company. We came out to the Orange Cassidy's aid, and of course, HFO ran back behind the curtain with their tail tucked between the legs. Between their legs. Excuse me. Let me just turn this down for a second. All right. So moving on. Dan Lambert decided to had a little bit of a promo on the pre-show as well. He has teamed with Scorpio Sky and All Ego Ethan Page. In case you haven't noticed and you don't really pay that close of attention, it's happened within the last couple weeks. I'm not really sure what's actually going to be going on with this storyline, but I'm excited to see where it's going. I know there's a couple other top team guys in there, so I'm excited to see where it goes and how things go from here. Now, I didn't see anything else throughout the night, but from these guys, but I'm sure we'll see something on Wednesday. All right, now let's get into the meat and potatoes of the actual pay-per-view. First match, Miro defeated Eddie Kingston for the TNT Championship. Alright, there's a little bit of controversy surrounding this one. During the match, the turnbuckle got pulled off by Eddie Kingston. Not necessarily on purpose, he just kind of had a hold of it, and it didn't look like that turnbuckle was secured the way it should have been. Was it planned? Yeah, probably, but nonetheless, it still came off. And being that it came off, later on in the match, Bryce Renberg, who was the referee, went to try to put the turnbuckle cover back on the turnbuckle. Alright, cool, whatever. Except for while he was doing that, Eddie Kingston had hit his finishing maneuver and had Miro down and was pinning him and had over a 3 count there. But by the time Bryce Renberg got to counting for the pinfall, Miro kicked out at 2.5. And then furthermore, Bryce didn't even have the turnbuckle secured back on there. So Eddie went to try to use that that exposed turnbuckle, and Bryce stood in the way and stopped them from using it. Now I understand, in a sense, that is kind of stopping him from using a foreign object. But on the other hand of things, that top turnbuckle is a part of the ring. So as far as I'm concerned, that should not have been happening. I kind of think that that's a little bit of a bullshit move, and I really hope that we get to see Eddie Kingston get a rematch, because I feel like Eddie Kingston kind of got robbed. And I kind of want to know how many of you guys feel the same way. So if you could, down in the comments below, and I think I'm going to do a poll on this on Facebook, because I want to know everybody's opinion on if you thought Miro got screwed, or if you thought Kingston got screwed or not, and if maybe there's more to a storyline here than what it appears to be. Maybe somewhere down the line, Bryce Remsburg's going to be in Miro's pocket, perhaps. That would actually be a good some good storytelling, and I wouldn't be mad at that. So we'll just have to wait and see what comes from further on down the line. But I want to know your guys' opinion. So when I put this out, go ahead and comment down in the comment section below. And if you guys got me on Facebook, which, of course, if you listen to this podcast, why don't you, right? Well, go ahead and take a part in the poll, and we'll see where everybody else's opinion is at on this. All right, so moving along, the next match of the night was Moxley versus Jon Moxley versus Satoshi Kojima. Moxley came away with a victory after dumping Kojima on his head with the paradigm shift. What? And then after the end of the match, Minoru Suzuki came out and confronted Jon Moxley. They had a little bit of exchange with some elbows and forearms to the face and stuff, which I will also want to point out that Moxley got opened up during his match. Somehow his elbow got cut. Same elbow he had surgery on about a year or 2 years ago. He had some, what was that? He had MRSA in his arm. So I kind of want to know, I'm kind of hoping they'll follow up on that a little bit on Dynamite, and hopefully Moxley's alright. It didn't look to be that bad, but being that he does have a history of problems with that elbow, I hope everything turns out alright with him. But this Wednesday night on Dynamite, we will see Minoru Suzuki versus Jon Moxley. So that is going to be a great match. Because after that exchange, I want to see Jon Moxley dump Suzuki on his fucking head. Alright, so moving along, next match of the night was Britt Baker, DMD, versus Kris Statlander. And of course, y'all know Britt Baker came away with a win. I didn't see her losing the championship this early. She's only had it for a little over a month. So I kind of figured Britt Baker would keep it. I wanted to see Kris Statlander win because I really do like Kris Statlander, and I think she's a great young talent, and I think she's gonna be a champion one day, and I was kind of hoping today would be the day, but nonetheless, she didn't walk away with the victory, but that's okay. It was still a great match. It was probably one of Britt Baker's best matches, if I'm going to go out on a limb and say that. I know in the media scrum, Tony Khan even said that he thought that was probably her best match in AEW. So I'm going to say I probably agree with Tony Khan there, because Tony Khan is just like us. He's just a fan. Though he is the CEO, he is just a fan, and normally his opinions are pretty right. I mean, his feeling for this business has been right so far. He has not steered any of us wrong on this venture since he has started it 2.5 years ago, almost 3 years ago, with the Young Bucks, Cody, and Kenny Omega, and I don't see him slowing down anytime soon. So moving along is, oh my God, this match right here. This match I told you was going to steal the show, and it stole the fucking show. The Lucha Brothers, your new AEW Tag Team Champions. Yes, your new AEW Tag Team Champion. Cero Miedo. I fucked that up. Cero Miedo. Lucha Brothers defeated the Elite Young Bucks. Yes, I had to give that moment of silence because there's just no words for it. That was an amazing match. The only thing I thought it was missing for the most of the match was somebody jumping off the top of the cage, and then Rey Fenix he jumped off the top of the cage with a crossbody to his brother and the Young Bucks catching him, and that right there just sealed the deal for me. That was a gruesome match. It was violent. It was bloody. It was anything you have came to expect from the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks and more. Because when these two teams get in the ring, they are going to knock them down, drag them out. They are going to tear down the house, and it is going to be the match of the night. And I will go out on a limb and say it was the match of the night. Now, now don't get me wrong, this card was full of amazing matches. Full of them. And I really can't pick my favorite match, but if I had to give a match of the night award to one of these guys, it would to one of these matches, it would be this match right here. Because it's just always great things when Lucha Brothers and Young Bucks come together and have a match. And on the media scrum, the Lucha Brothers actually petitioned, or maybe teased. We'll see what happens. I'm excited for it. They actually had the idea of, if Tony Khan will allow it, maybe sometime within the next year, 2 years, sometime within the foreseeable future, I guess you could say, the Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks have a hair versus mask match. That right there would be an iconic match, and I don't know who the winners would be. I don't want to see the Lucha Brothers win, I don't want to see the Lucha Brothers lose because I don't want them to lose their masks. But I don't want to see the Young Bucks lose because I don't want them to go bald. But although I will say, a bald Matt and Nick Jackson, especially with how arrogant they've been in the last few months, would be pretty fucking funny. Because, I gotta say, Nick, him dyeing everything, he dyed his beard for the pay-per-view and everything. I gotta say, Nick, you're going a little overboard with the dye now, brother. Stop trying to dye your beard, be a grown man, and just do some natural shit. You and your brother are already the best tag team in the world. Do you really gotta be an arrogant son of a bitch? I don't think so. But I will say, they're being heels. They're doing a great job of being heels. So apparently it's working out for them. And as far as I know, the Elite is actually doing, or being the Elite I should say, is actually doing the best numbers it's done in a long time. So maybe they're doing something right. Who fucking knows? Alright, your next match of the night was the women's Casino Battle Royal. And boy, when I tell you, it was good. But not only was it good, but it was shocking, and it was everything it should have been, and then some. Because the Joker, who not only surprised the entire crowd, surprised me, and surprised probably a few of the wrestlers in the ring, Ruby Soho won the match. Ruby Soho, for those of you who don't know, is formerly known as Ruby Riott from WWE. And oh my god, this is such an acquisition for AEW. She is such a talent. She's going to bring so much competition to the women's locker room. And I can't wait to see her get in there and beat Britt Baker's ass. She is going to get in there and she's going to stomp a mullet hole in that bitch's ass and walk it dry. Because Ruby Soho is going to be the next AEW Women's Champion. I'm calling it right here, right now. I'm a huge fan of Ruby Soho. I think she's been long overdue. She didn't receive any championship opportunities when she was in WWE, and the fact that she's coming into AEW and within her first few matches is going to be a AEW Women's Championship match is pretty fucking amazing. And I think she deserves it. And I think she's going to kick Britt Baker's ass. I'm telling you. Alright. Next was Chris Jericho versus MJF. And Jericho walked away with the victory. He almost didn't. And this is why I'm saying he almost didn't. Because MJF had him covered, and Jericho put his foot on the rope after the 2 count. Okay? Well, Aubrey Edwards didn't see it. And I actually thought for probably about 30 seconds that Jericho was done. I thought, oh no, I can't see him going out like this. This is bullshit. But Bryce Remsburg was maybe righting a wrong from earlier in the night. I don't know. I think he was the referee of the next match. Who knows? He came out there. He told Aubrey, no, I watched it. It was 1, 2, foot on the rope, 3. So they restarted the match, and that's when Jericho pulled off the victory. Thank God. And after Jericho pulled off the victory and he won the match, the Inner Circle came out and they all had a celebration in the ring. So, Chris Jericho is still all elite. And Chris Jericho is still going to have some matches. He ain't done yet. I don't know when he'll be done, but I'm sure he'll be happy that he gets to make that decision and he lives to fight for another day. Alright, probably the second best match of the night right here. CM Punk versus Darby Allin. CM fucking Punk. This guy, 7 motherfucking years. 7 years since his last match. 7 years since he left this business. He comes back. He's better than he's ever been. You could tell he had a little bit of ring rust at first, but he got right into it like riding a bicycle within the first 30 seconds or so. I think a little bit of that was him playing around with the crowd, you know. I think he was just kind of having fun, getting some feeling for Darby. And CM Punk, what did he do? He kicked Darby Allin's ass. GTS 1, 2, 3. It's over. But then I love the exchange at the end. Sting came out on his own. They even said in the media scrum, Sting did this on his own. It wasn't planned. It wasn't booked. Sting did this on his own. Came out and shook Punk's hand. Punk said it's such an honor for that to happen. And then he went and checked on Darby Allin, made sure Darby Allin was alright. Sting helped Darby up. Well, he tried helping Darby up. Darby's too damn stubborn and got up on his fucking own. But then CM Punk shook Darby's hand, and then Punk continued saying, 7 fucking years. 7 years. I'm back, motherfuckers. I seen him say, I'm back, motherfuckers. And that made me so excited. I am happy that CM Punk is happy and CM Punk is all elite. And we are going to see some amazing things from Punk in this damn business. We have yet to see the best Punk has to offer. And we are going to see it in AEW. What's next for Punk? I'm not sure. But I know one thing. I'm tuning into Dynamite this Wednesday night so I can find out what's next for Punk. Because I know sooner or later he's going after the AEW Championship. Maybe he'll announce that this Wednesday. Who fucking knows? Maybe he'll be facing Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship at Full Gear. Hell, maybe Hangman will get his chance at Full Gear. Who fucking knows? But I do know I'm excited to see what's next for CM Punk. Alright, Paul White made his debut match against QT Marshall. This wasn't a very long match. Which I didn't expect it to be. I knew it wanted to do. It was just going to be like a short, sweet, little 5-10 minute match. And that's about what it was. QT Marshall came out with the Factory. And, you know, the Factory had their exchange with Paul White. Paul White beat them up. And then it was pretty much beat up the Factory, beat up QT Marshall a little bit. QT Marshall gets a couple more hits in. Then the Factory comes back in, finish beating up the Factory. Choke slam, QT, 1, 2, 3, it's over. And that's essentially what it was, and that's essentially what it needed to be. QT got his ass kicked. Paul White came away with the victory. Everybody went home happy. Except for QT. But who gives a fuck? QT's a little bitch anyway. Pac versus Andrade. This match was not on the card. And I know some of you guys were probably thinking, oh, well, on your preview podcast, you didn't preview this one. Well, here's why. There was actually some travel issues stated by Tony Khan for Pac getting over to Chicago from, I believe he's probably in England. So therefore, they had to change this match. It's not going to happen. It did not happen on All Out. They reported earlier last week it wasn't going to happen on All Out. So I didn't think it was going to be that much of a surprise to everybody that I didn't include it and didn't comment on it. But we do know now that Pac will face Andrade El Idolo at Rampage this Friday, and that is going to be a good match. I'm excited to see Pac get in there and kick some ass. I want to see how El Idolo does over in AEW too. I'm kind of excited to see how he does with a little bit of more creative freedom than what we've noticed him having in WWE. He's got Chavo on his side, so I think Chavo as a manager is going to be amazing. Along with, he's got Chavo and he's got somebody else, but I'm not sure who the other person is right off the top of my head. But it's going to be a good match, and I'm excited to see El Idolo do his debut. Hell, maybe he'll be the next one to challenge Kenny Omega for the championship. Who fucking knows? That's the thing with AEW. You never know what's going to happen over there. All right, I apologize for my sniffling a little bit. Give me just a second. I'm going to take a swig of water. All right. Got to stay hydrated, my friends. All right. Your final match of the night and your main event of the evening was Kenny Omega walking away with the victory, defeating Christian Cage, and still your AEW World Heavyweight Championship. No, I'm just joking. He's just a world He's just a world champion. There's no heavyweight. They don't acknowledge heavyweight and cruiserweight in AEW. This ain't WWE. So yeah, match. It was good. By that point, I thought the pay-per-view was about 4 hours long. So at that point, you know, the crowd seemed a little tired and stuff. And there were some parts in it that maybe I wasn't as much into as I should have been, like I was in the other matches. But that comes from a little bit of exhaustion after watching 4 hours of fucking wrestling. 5 hours if you count the pre-show. But I will say I'm really hoping Christian Cage is okay. I haven't heard anything more on that. But Christian Cage, he took a nasty fucking bump when he went to spear Kenny Omega through a table. The way the table broke is the legs came up through the table and they gashed him right on his ribs. It didn't look like it was super bad, but I'm more worried about the internal damage that could do, because that looked like it hurt like a fucking son of a bitch. I know if I would have did that, I would have been out of breath for a few minutes, and he looked like he was too. So I'm hoping Christian's still okay from that. He did seem to finish the match all right. He didn't seem to be grabbing it too much. I think it might have just knocked the wind out of him, and that's about it. So it was a good match overall. Kenny Omega did walk away with the victory though. So fuck. God damn it. Why? Because here's why. Kenny Omega can't seem to win a match on his fucking own anymore. If he didn't have Don Callis or one of the Good Brothers coming out and helping him out, he probably would have lost that fucking match. I don't think Kenny Omega knows how to win a match on his own anymore. And that's the sad thing, because Kenny Omega is one of the best wrestlers in the world today. Not taken away from CM Punk, the best in the world, of course. But nonetheless, Kenny Omega is one of the best top wrestlers in this world today. And the fact that he doesn't know how to win a fucking match without some kind of interference at this point is a little bullshit. And I really think that Tony Khan's going to get fed up with it, and he's going to do the same thing to him he did to the Young Bucks and say, all right, well, we're putting you in a damn steel cage match or some kind of match where there can't be any outside interference, and we're going to see if you can actually win this title for real. And I don't think he's going to do it. The second Kenny Omega gets locked away in a steel cage or any other kind of match or even the Elite gets banned from ringside, Kenny Omega's going to lose. Kenny Omega will not win that match because Kenny Omega has forgotten how to win a match, which is sad because he's one of the best fucking wrestlers there are. But I hope it's somebody worthy that takes a championship, like Hangman, like CM Punk, like Bryan Danielson, like Adam Cole. Oh yeah, by the way, Adam Cole, baby! And Mr. Yes himself, Bryan Danielson, did make their debut at the end of the show. Like that segue there? That was a pretty smooth segue, wasn't it? I'm just going to give myself some props right there. Anyway, Adam Cole and Adam Cole came out after the match. Actually, let me take this back for a minute and almost set the scene up for you. Kenny Omega wins the match. The Elite comes down. They all start beating up Christian some more. Luchasaurus, Jungle Express, Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy come down to try to help out Christian Cage. Well, they're failing. So all of a sudden, Adam Cole's music hits. I jump out of my seat. I'm going, it's Adam Cole, baby! I'm ecstatic. I'm excited. I'm so many other words. This is why we love AEW, guys, because literally anything can happen. So he comes out. I'm thinking, all right, well, he's going to challenge Omega for the championship next because Omega just said nobody's going to beat him for the championship. Well, Adam Cole decides to super kick Jungle Boy, join the Elite, which should have saw coming because, I mean, come on, these guys were friends before Adam went to NXT. And then, after he joins the Elite and Adam's in the middle of doing his promo, guess whose music hits? That's right, Bryan fucking Danielson. Yes. 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 He came out there. He took the Elite out. Most of the Elite fucking scrambled by the time he came out there. They didn't want no part of Bryan. So I'm hoping Bryan Danielson is the next challenger for the AEW World Championship. Because that being one of his first matches in AEW and kicking Kenny Omega's ass, whew, you don't get a better fucking... If I'm just gonna play a booker right now. If I was Tony Khan and I had the opportunity to book Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship match as Bryan Danielson's debut match, and Bryan Danielson walks away with that victory, first of all, that pop is going to be unreal. That is going to be an amazing debut match for Bryan Danielson. Although I can hear some of you guys over there saying, but that's not fair to all the other guys in AEW. The guys that have been there for a while. The guys that deserve the championship match. To that I say, fair point. But how many of those guys have already faced Kenny Omega and lost? Is my question back to you. Probably most of them. So, being that it would be fresh new talent, he's already a top star. He's already over with the fans. I could see some talent getting upset, but all in all, I think that would be smart. However, another guy I would like to see face for the AEW Championship is Sammy Guevara. And I don't know where his story's going right now, because we ain't seen Sammy Guevara since he wrestled Shawn Spears that I can think of. I don't know if this Inner Circle Pinnacle thing is still going to be happening or not. I don't know if the end of this Inner Circle Pinnacle thing was on All Out or if it's going to continue for a little bit longer. We're going to have to wait to see. But anyway, that was the pay-per-view, guys. All in all, I got to give this pay-per-view 5 stars out of 5 stars. During that last match, I felt like it was the pay-per-view was starting to run a little bit long. I don't know if it was just because of 5 hours of wrestling or what it was, but then after the match and Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson came out, I done forgot I was tired and I was getting bored and I was on my feet again. So 5 stars, 5 stars, maybe 10 stars out of 5 stars. I mean, it was a damn good fucking pay-per-view. If you didn't see it, you really missed out on something. That's all I gotta say. Yeah, I mean, it was well worth the $50 bill that it cost for that pay-per-view. I mean, I would have paid that every day, all day for it. It was definitely well worth what they wanted, and it was definitely a good pay-per-view. Which I gotta say, AEW hasn't had a bad pay-per-view since they started. AEW hasn't really had a bad show since they started. I can think of one show since AEW started that I thought was kind of eh. And the only reason why I thought it was eh was because I thought it was set up wrong. And that was the cage match that they did. Well, I guess that wouldn't be considered a cage match. The MMA match that they did between Jake Hager and Wardlow. Sorry, I had to stop and think about that for a second. And the main reason why I thought that show was kind of eh was because that was the first match. And when you have what feels like a main event start the show, it's hard to follow that, especially something like that. And then on top of that, I was expecting an MMA match, but it ended up being a little more, you could tell it was choreographed. And I kind of didn't want it to feel choreographed, being that it was supposed to be an MMA match. That was my only takeaway from it, really. That's my only show that I could really critique and say it was eh. And that match right there really just kind of made the rest of the show in a kind of a funk. But other than that show right there, every single other AEW show has been amazing. Just simply amazing, and always leaves you wanting more. You're always tuned in to what's happening next. And you never know what's going to happen next, because the way Tony Khan has booked everything and the way Tony Khan books everything, and the way you can tell he has a passion for this business. And you never know what's going to happen, and he's so good at pulling out surprises. Because just like us, he's a fan at heart. And when you can see that kind of passion in somebody else's eyes, and you can tell that they love what they're doing, that reverberates to everybody. So that's the podcast for you guys. It was a great show. I'm excited to see what happened on Dynamite, or what happens on Dynamite. I'll be excited to see what happens on Rampage. And yeah, we'll just take it from there. So thanks for listening, guys. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good shit. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, all at Only One CJack, and Only One CJack is spelled out ONEONLY CJack. You can find links to everything down in the description below. Comment your views, comment however you feel. You got anything personal you want to ask me, or any other thing you want to ask me, you can always email me at my very public email at onlyoncjack@gmail.com. So until next time, this is CJack. This has been CJack Talk, and that was an all-out review. I will catch you guys next time.
I'm a heartbreaker, ass kicker. I'm a hot trigger, nasty words. I got 2 fingers for ass kissers. I'm a asshole dirtbag, no good bastard.